Sports Recap fam, welcome to another edition of True Thursdays. In this video, I will recap the Middle Tennessee State game and go over what needs to happen in the Georgia Tech game. So going to this MTSU game, we're going to dive into the defense first. I was very impressed with the defense. The first team defense only gave up 7 points. Those 7 points were the first drive of the second half. Remember, we kicked the first half and the second half, but that's a whole nother story. Middle Tennessee State's other points were a fumble recovery for a touchdown that ended up for 6. They missed their 2-point conversion, and then there was a jump touchdown in the last minute of the game. So that's why Middle Tennessee State got 20 points. I think this builds confidence. And I thought the defense looked really good. This defense on Saturday, to me, showed the definition of bend but don't break. Middle Tennessee State got a lot more yards than I would have liked, but they were very inefficient with those yards. The first drive was a microcosm of what happened. That first drive of the game where they just marched all the way down the field and we're all like, what is this? And then they get first and goal at the 1.5 yard line. It was initially a touchdown, but replays did overturn the call, so they got first and goal from the 1.5 yard line. And what eventually ensued was a 3rd and 7 play that ended up in a touchback because Trey Boston picked off MTSU's quarterback in the end zone. And I thought that was a big stand early on, big confidence booster for the defense. I'm not used to our defense doing that. When we get those 1st and 1/2 yard lines, I'm used to the other team punching it in rather easy, whether it be MTSU or any other team. I'm being serious. I just thought the defense played extremely well. One thing I did find concerning was the runs up the middle. And when MTSU decided to run up the middle, they got a lot of yards. And that was very concerning. I think there's probably a couple of things in play here. One is our game plan for Middle Tennessee State. Maybe the game plan was to keep them in front of you. If that was the plan, we did that plan very well. There weren't a lot of deep plays. I don't remember really any. There were probably like 2 or 3 plays that we would have burned us last season that just didn't happen this season. So I was very impressed in that front. I think maybe Fedora and them were content to let Middle Tennessee State rush up the middle like that if they wanted to, knowing that they were not going to pass over us. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. Also in play is our linebacker corps. The fact that we don't have many healthy linebackers playing. Jack Tabb is playing linebacker on some of the snaps this season. That's how bad our core is. We're just not healthy right now. And linebackers usually plug up that middle run, so that's big too. But I thought our defense overall played a good game. On the flip side, on the offense was not clicking. And they were very inconsistent on Saturday. There'll be one time where the offense will be marching down the field and get a touchdown like that. And then all of a sudden, they'll come back on the field, and it's a 3-and-out, unconvincing drive that goes nowhere, and we're punting the ball again. We punted the ball a lot more than I would have liked. We could have scored a lot more points. The execution was not good, and a couple things go in play here. One, to me, is the conservative play calling of Blake Anderson. And I know a lot of fans seem to flock here, and I'm calling it based on how I'm seeing it. And I don't come here as a bailout. I'm coming here based on what I've seen through 2 games. And maybe Blake Anderson called plays like this last season. Last season, he could call runs up the middle, and that's not a problem because Gio would turn 2 yards into 22 yards or 72 yards. Gio was a playmaker, so Gio could bail Blake Anderson out with these runs up the middle. AJ Blue and Romar Morris are not necessarily Gio, so they're going to get what they can. But if the defense knows what we're doing, they're going to snuff us out, and we're not going to have a running game. Our running game has not been where we wanted it to be. Fedora is a person, he believes in balance, and we haven't gotten that balance. So we need to fix that. I think the play calling has been a little too conservative. If for a team that wants to rush, It wouldn't hurt to like run to the side or something, get some speed going, not just run up the middle over and over again. That's John Shoop and repeat instead we're in the shotgun and not the ace formation. Which reminds me of those third down calls. Through 2 games, especially on third down and long, we run up the middle. And I felt like I was watching John Shoop call plays. But the shotgun version, it was really weird. Just run up the middle, third and 9, 10, 11, 12, etc. And I'm like, what is this? Like, I understand that it's okay to punt, but when you make your decision to punt, you don't make your decision to punt before third down begins. Like, have a third down passing play, and if the options are not there, you can throw it away and punt then. But don't run knowing that you're going to punt the ball. See, that doesn't rub me the right way. It doesn't go right. And I feel like it's a lot of our drives this year, we just run on third and long to set up the punt. And yes, it's okay to punt, but our offense has not been the juggernaut to offset that yet. So we need to really develop some good third down plays. And that in itself leads me into the theory I have, and the theory I think some people are coming up with, is the fact that Fedora's hot in the playbook, perhaps. Because it seems like the offense this year is running at 20 to 40% of the clip that the offense last year around this time ran. Some of the plays, it hasn't been explosive. It's been very lethargic, very vanilla, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. The execution of what we're doing right now needs work. So there's that. But we're also not giving ourselves a chance to like really get vertical and get down the field. And maybe we're hiding our cards against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is the first game on our schedule that truly matters. For real, that's the first game that truly matters. South Carolina, I think, was influenced by the D-line. Middle Tennessee State, please. We're just not trying to get Georgia Tech that game tape. And the only thing they have to go off of now are games against Scar and Middle Tennessee State, which to me is not going to show them anything. And that's not a bad thing. Maybe we throw all our cards at Georgia Tech, and I'll be happy then. Maybe our offense will show something then. There's no way Fedora's contend with the offense the way they've been playing right now. Something's just amiss about that, so we'll fix that. So, yeah, special teams, they were all right. There was that one time where I think we kicked off to them and they got the ball all the way to the 50. That was concerning. We need to fix that. Game-changing plays on special teams. The first thing we do before we go for game-changing plays in favor of us is to negate potential game-changing plays for the other team. So we really need to get on that. Like I told you, special teams has lacked. They really have not done their jobs for the past, I think, 8 games, going all the way back to last season. Special teams, we'll talk about special teams later, because special teams really, they really messed it up against Georgia Tech. So, keys for Georgia Tech game when we play them next Saturday in Atlanta. Number 1, offensive efficiency. I think this one's very obvious, but it's easier said than done. When we get on the field against Georgia Tech, we need to get down the field. We need to get points. And we need to get touchdowns, not self-field goals. And field position is important in this game. I saw a quote from Larry Fedora today that I'm glad he reminded me of this, because when I think of last year's game, scratch that. I didn't think of last year's game because the score line told me everything I needed to know. I just did not care about looking at that box score, looking at anything I needed to see. Georgia Tech 68, UNC 50 was all I wanted to know. We scored 50 points and we lost by 3 possessions. That's all I need to know. But Larry Fedora said today that in that game, there were 3 instances where UNC gave Georgia Tech a short field. There was the fumble kickoff return that gave them good field position. There was the Bring Renner screen pass that was picked off by a defensive end and gave them the ball like R25. And then there was the turnover on downs. I think we were ambitious on offense that game, and we turned the ball over deep in our territory when we didn't have to. I mean, at that point, I guess our defense wasn't really doing much, but our offense and special teams combined to give Georgia Tech 3 short fields, and you cannot give a team like that short fields. You kick it, and you make Georgia Tech work for everything they get. So field position is very important. I think we learned from last season. We'll be better about that this season. Number 2, take chances on defense. There's no reason. I hear the assignment football. They've been blurting it out for years. I've heard it from Fedora. I heard it from Withers. I think I heard it from Davis. But it doesn't hurt to take chances. Every now and then, blitz linebackers or something to show Georgia Tech a different card. Because if they know what we're giving every time they snap that football, they're going to be running up and down the field at will, getting their yards and getting those points. So we really need to just switch it up. And I think highlighting all of that is discipline in the secondary. When we blitz, our secondary needs to be on top of their assignments. Really, if we're not blitzing, our secondary needs to be on top of their assignments. The first play last season against Georgia Tech was a passing play. It was a 40-yard bomb that switched field position like that. And we're all like, well, it's going to be a long game. And it turned out it was. We just need discipline in secondary. They need to know not to get bit off so much. Yes, Georgia Tech is a rushing offense, but they also love dropping back and then throwing those 15-yard, 20-yard, 30-yard bombs. So we just need to be disciplined back there. And it doesn't hurt to be aggressive up front. A lot of teams that have beaten Georgia Tech in the past have blitzed them to death. They've really gotten to them before they could really get into their rhythm. Georgia Tech is a rhythm offense. So we really need to just get on them. They should not be getting 3 or 4 yards guaranteed. Last year, I feel like their quarterback could just fall over and get a guaranteed 3 or 4 yards. And that's embarrassing and concerning. If we really like getting them behind the chains a little bit, if they get like even a 2nd and 10 maybe, that's not necessarily bad. That's much better than the 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 6 they usually get. Because 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5 to Georgia Tech is nothing. Get them behind the chains. Make them work. Let's see them in some long situations. Number 3, executing on special teams. Special teams, like I said, really did. They dropped the ball last season. Literally. They got their fumble kickoff that gave Georgia Tech great field position. And then you have the kickoff return that went for a touchdown to begin the second half. And that, they got a short field and a touchdown. There's your game-changing plays. And that needs to be negated. Special teams is very important in a game like this because you got to play field position with a team like Georgia Tech. You want to make sure they earn everything they get, but we can't give it to them easy off of special teams. Make that triple option offense earn everything they get. Make sure they get on the field so they have to earn what they get. And then switch it up defensively so we really take it to them. Just very important stuff. So that in Georgia Tech, when we play Georgia Tech on next Saturday, we just need all 3 phases working. They need to do their jobs if we want to win this game. Defense can't allow 6 to 8 points, but offense and special teams surely cannot contribute to bad field positioning and bad situations for our defense. They just all 3 need to get it together. And I think we can, but until I see it, I'm betting on Georgia Tech. Put your money on Georgia Tech. Have faith in our team, but we need to show it first. Because when it comes to this matchup, nobody respects us. Have you been to our Georgia Tech message board? UNC is like... UNC to Georgia Tech football is like state to UNC basketball. We don't think anything of state basketball, with the exception of last year in that first meeting, maybe. Because it's just a guaranteed doormat. We just win. That's how, when I went to Georgia Tech's little message board, was it last season? They're like, please. When's the last time we lost to UNC? So we just really need to fix that. But anyway, there's that. Thanks for hearing me out. Hope y'all have a good one. Signing off, Jonathan Atkinson.